Top of the day to you on this inspirational day. What happened to Monday? It's the word. Have you not heard? It's the word. So, top of the day to you. I am that reporter reporting to you the way, the truth, and life. Because you know what? Life be life in. So, we have been on this journey, preparing ourselves, equipping ourselves, not only in the physical, but also in the spiritual. And that's what we on. We have, I guess, around this world, all kinds of physical warfares that's going on. Some we don't participate, some we hear it just be rumors, and then other kind of wars that go on can be eternal within ourselves, not necessarily around us. So we need to check ourselves to find out where we are. We have been dealing with the armor of God. This armor is spiritual and it helps equip us in order for it to lead, guide, and direct us. Tell us which way to go. Talk about not only the way, but the truth that we believe in. And then that would create a better life for us. Okay. So we discussed having our helmet of salvation, knowing for a fact what we believe without, a doubt. Okay, without the helmet, we also been talking about our breastplate of righteousness, that we're gonna walk this way. This is the right way that we want to live. Okay, and that's what we are guarded with. Then we have that belt. We talked about that belt of truth. All right, what is your truth? Now we're dealing with not only that, all these equipments that we have to talk about our feet when we walk, when we go forth. Okay, what is our feet is guarded with? Is it about that peace? Are we shod with peace on our feet as we go to and fro on this earth? And that's what we're gonna, meditate on today. So always stay tuned on this inspirational journey. That way you can like, subscribe, and always find what's next. Every Monday you will find us here at 6 o'clock. So always stay tuned. So are you ready to what? Dig in, because here we go. So the armor of God is about preparing us for the gospel of peace. All right, what is our peace? We always want to think of, peace like shoes as we go to and fro, how we stepping out, what we stepping in, what we stepping on. So we want to put all this on before we step out the door. So you have to tell yourself, your spirit, spirit, that's your spirit, that's your inner man, what you believe, how you are. Okay, you want to step out and you need some guidance. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we want to be steady, not rush, because sometimes you can rush. Next thing you know, you have accidents or things happen whenever it comes to let's dig in. Yes. So dealing with being steady. So you want to have an even flow. You don't want to be rushed. Anytime that you rush, you're bound to make some kind of mistakes or have accidents. So it's also about an internal posture. Whenever you have a peace about yourself, you want to set it before anything else. Because sometimes, all kinds of stuff would try to lead you or set your peace for you whenever you go to work. Sometimes you have situations that's already going on, that time you get there, they want to set your peace for you, but you want to have that peace when you walk in. All right. So peace isn't absence of emotions. Sometimes you find people, they are very emotional. They live in their emotions. Next thing you know, they happy. Next minute they crying. Next minute they, joyful. They sad. Peace can be everywhere, but it's up to you how you would let it drag you. All right. So do you want that peace? You want to refuse it if it starts to drag you and set up trigger warnings for you. So you want to take that minute just to pause, breathe, reset, so what's the peaceful response here? And that's what you want to ask yourself whenever you have chaos, a different situation to come in that comes up against you. Or else, you'll be like 0 to 100. Next thing you know, your peace is all disturbed, you all flustered. And next thing, that's because somebody done said or done something, but you have control. You want to have self-control. You want to take control of your peace. No one should not be in control of you. This is your body, your spirit. The only person that should be leading, guiding you is the Holy Spirit, God, his word. That's what should be leading and guiding you. And you want to always have that up front. So you want to speak 10% slower. Sometimes, when people used to say things to me. I used to pop off 0 to 100, ain't heard nothing. All I heard a little bit, next thing you know, I'm saying what I got to say or whatever, and didn't hardly listen to nothing. So you want to make sure you want to listen 20% more than you usually do. So don't match someone else intensity. So in other words, like, your emergency is not my urgency, or your urgency is not my emergency. All right, so let's tune in and be steady, even if the topic isn't. You want to limit unnecessary conflict. A lot of people won't use issues. They're the bad guy, and they want to put all that on you. But when you got a spirit of peace, you leave that where it's not my battle. And I had to learn that. Deal with things that pertain to me. And that was a hard cookie for me to swallow. But when I start chewing on each one of them bites, all them little chocolate chips and nuts, start tasting very good. I'm like, I like this. I like this. Yes. So, and then it puts me in a better peace. It made me mind my own business and understand that I cannot fight everybody battle. And I used to try, I hate people, being the underdog and people not taking up for people who won't stand up for themselves. But we have to learn to stand on all 10. You want to stand on all 10 on certain parts that don't even, concern you. But what about the standing on all 10 of the things that really concern you, that make you, your characteristics? What about standing on all 10 for them? And then you need to know what all 10 you standing on. We already know that we are guided by commandments, some with God, some with mankind. And once you have that, that's going to bring you peace. When you put all them in order, you don't touch things that don't belong to you. And then when it comes to God, who you want to serve? You want to serve just God, or you want to serve other idols? Some things we have in our life that we don't even know that they're idols or other gods, especially like during Mardi Gras. And we'll get in that too. During Mardi Gras, it's so many other little idol gods. They were named through floats. And we don't even know some of those names of those floats were different gods that our ancestors had served or they worshiped. But now, because we wasn't taught better, and we wasn't, that knowledge and wisdom was not passed on to understand the difference. And we still just continuously over and over repetitively celebrate all these things that are considered as gods. But we say, oh no, we Christians, we Christ-like, we serve God, but also at the same time, you also serve these other gods. So you need to make up your mind who you want to be. So this is part of your armor. Don't let every opinion require a reaction. So sometimes when other people's opinion, come to you, or they think this way about you, not all the time that you should react. I had an opinion that was stated on me, by one of my other coworkers, but I don't have to give a response to that, because the more you respond, the more it eggs them on, and it makes them look great. And light being shined on you, even though you don't like to be shined on you. I like to play in the background now. At first, I used to always want to be on stage, but now it's not my stage. I rather play in the background, and I still get accolades, and I still would shine because the spirit that's within me would shine brighter. I don't have to say anything, but my aura, when I step in the room, it's my aura, it's my spirit that would shine before me. So it's not me trying to get credit or glory for myself. It's the glory of my spirit of God that's within me that shines bright, that gives me all the glory and the honor that I deserve, even though I'm undeserving of anything. But because of him, I get some of his praises and glory, because I use his word to apply to my life, to help me as I travel to and fro on this earth. And this is not just given to me, it's given to all of us. And many times I fall short, but you know what? I learn from my mistakes, and then I apply it back to me. And that way I can get a W instead of an L. But nowadays, sometimes L's are so natural to people, they think that that's the right way. So the wrong sometimes in this world is people consider right, and the right that in this world, people consider that that's wrong. So we're a little kind of like backwards. So we need to kind of self-examine and look to see, what we believe, what we don't, what is true, what is, fake or false. So part of our life, we want to limit unnecessary conflicts. Okay, so I used to find myself in all kinds of conflicts. But then when I start dealing with things that only pertain to me, worry about myself, try to be the best that I could be with what I'm supposed to be responsible for, then a lot of that unnecessary conflicts had, deceased. And I didn't have all that chaos in my life. I didn't have to come home every day, ranting and raving about whatever situation that I found myself in. So all that, once you let that go, it is beautiful. It's beautiful. People still gonna see you, even though you think that you need all that to shine. But even without saying much, when you walk in a room, you're already shining. So you got to understand that that is a type of shine too. So step away from, arguments and stuff that be draining you. That's unnecessary. Unless you just like all that chaos. Sometimes some of that chaos could bring hard feelings. Somebody could say something, and then it could harm or bring danger or death to people's lives that are innocent because you decide to participate in an unnecessarily argument or a situation. So don't let every opinion require a reaction from you. But every action requires a reaction, but not all the time that your reaction have to be in the way that they were trying to pull that up out of you. It could be a peaceful reaction. You don't have to respond because they want to be a clown. That don't mean that you have to be a clown too. Stress-free life. Yes, it's best to live a stress-free life because it's very I'm gonna say freeing. It's peaceful, and that's what your feet. That's what your feet should be shod with peace, and that's what you're looking for. Peace. But you will find people that their life is full of chaos, and that's what they like, and they bring that. So you'll know the difference when you see it now, because that's like a spirit of discernment now, because better because we're talking about it. So you know the difference now of what that person becomes. So when you see different people, they about it and all about that noise and trying to take you through there, you don't have to go. You leave them right there, let them go on by themselves, because at the end of that, it's always tragic. It's always tragic, or something tragedy that may falls on someone else that's innocent, and all that could have been avoided. Okay, so choose what you give your attention to. All right. So that's what we need to do when it start to deal with peace. You ask yourself, you take that moment and like, okay, should I do that? Should I participate? Is that my fight? Are they talking to me? Because if they did not pull your whole chain or not talk or didn't call your name, they don't have nothing to do with you. And that's what you need to start applying to yourself. That's not my fight. They didn't call my name. So why am I answering or sticking my nose in somebody else's business? And it's just naturally for us to do sometimes. We walk into every situation, you want to be grounded. You want to be steady and unshaken. Regardless of what people try to bring to you, that don't mean that you have to participate or be moved. But if they bring it to you, you have to defend yourself. I'm not saying not to, so because sometimes people would do things to you just to get it at you. They want to do because they agitated. They want other people around them to be agitated. Because they angry, they want to try to pull somebody in because that's just the nature of that beast. That's what that evil spirit does. It does that. It's so all humbuggish. It's irritated, so we want other people to be irritated around them. So your steps should be carried by peace instead of chaos. Be ready, but not reactive. You want to move through this world with calm that comes from something deeper within you, than your circumstances. But that comes with practice. Not all the time that, first it comes now because you acknowledging it. Then as you go throughout the day, you be aware about it. And then sometimes when you see that, oh man, I should have answered this way, I should have done this, or didn't say nothing at all. Then so when it comes back up again, you'll know how to approach it. So you want to move through this world with calm that comes from something that's deeper within. Your footwear determines how far you can go, all right, and how confidently you can move. So that's what your footwear want to be, all right. Peace is like a kind of shoe that lets you walk through conflicts, uncertainty, even spiritual struggles without losing our footing. Sometimes we can go through spiritual struggles. We can go to, something may happen to our family or our loved ones. Tragic can, we lose our loved ones, or accidents can happen, or different types of we get these results, from different type tests, and we just fall apart, and so therefore, or our family will, have these different issues, and it affects us. But at the same time, if you pray, you take a minute and you have faith and know that about this flesh, and know the life expectancy of the flesh, then you can be able to equip yourself a little bit better. So being shoved with peace isn't passive, isn't active, is not intentional, but it is practice. So you have to practice this, because it took me a minute. It took me a minute, and it took me some tears to understand that I don't have to fight all these battles. Okay. Rock say move accordingly. All right. So you move accordingly. So, and if you need to understand, or write it down, or put yourself things in order, that way you'll know how to move. Okay. What do peace look like, as you walk to and fro on this earth? What do peace look like? Choosing calm over escalation. Listen more, or listen before you speak. So listen more closely before you speak. Responding instead of reacting. Carrying a settled heart into unsettled spaces. Letting God's presence be the ground beneath your feet. So be equipped, have your peace, and you'll see some people, you wonder, like, why they be like that? It's just something about them. I can't figure it out. And what it is, they have a peace about themselves. They deal with things that pertain to them. They don't be in your business, your neighbor business, or anybody else's business. They deal with their own. So desire to tell the good news about peace. So if anybody asks you, oh, what these type of shoes that you wearing, what's on your feet, and you explain to them, your practice, your cons, your pros, when it deals to how you got to that level, because we all don't start on that level. We all was not trained or taught that way. Some of us, the TV probably raised half of us. The internet is raising the rest of us, and we were not trained, how to go to and fro, how to live, how to equip ourselves, how to dress with this armor, this spiritual connection that we're supposed to have. Some of us was not taught that. But when you learn better, you start doing better. It don't make no sense that you can be I don't think I can call people, I don't know what word I can use. I can't say, I'm gonna use silly. You can't be silly all your life. That's funny. All right. So shoes of the gospels, or sandals of peace, feet fitted with readiness of the gospel. So you ready to go into situation in a peaceful way. I'm not really saying that, if you have to, protect yourself, you have to do that, because your life matters. But you don't have to like go and do something and then try to defend yourself. You don't have to go and try to cause chaos to try to defend yourself, just to have something to do, which a lot of people do that. They just need something to do. So they'll just go around the world causing chaos, lying, starting being messy. We're good with being messy. That's just a natural thing for us to do, which is not good, because being messy is starting a lot of mess, going, spreading gossip. Sometimes that can get people, injured. So just be mindful. So what word I'm looking for? Okay, I don't know whether I can say stupid. That's the word. I didn't know what word to put in there. So yeah, I was gonna say dumb or whatever, but stupid is perfect. I wasn't for sure. So I wanted to be, correct politically talking. Because sometimes my words is not correct English. So we want to have that spiritual protection and that strength for us as believers. So we want to release what we carried. So at the end of the day, you went through, to and fro on this earth. So you get back home and you have all this stuff bundled up in you because you chose not to carry it out. So sometimes, you can come here, on this inspirational journey, and we could talk about it. We could release that, because sometimes when you in a situation, and I came home with this too. I met something that happened to me, and I come home and I'm just humbuggish about it. And then the next day I wake up with it on my mind too. So sometimes that is not good. You want to release that. whatever that's weighting you down for that day, and it's still on your chest, you have to learn how to release it. You can't take, you can't. I'll say it for you. I wasn't for sure. So thank you, Rock. So that's my rock. All right. So whatever weighs you down in your chest, and you want to release that. So you want to name out what's bothering you, and you want to exhale it out. You want to talk about it, and this is the perfect place. It's about our journey. It's helping us, along our way. It's giving us truth, and that way we'll have a better life. All right. So therefore, you just always come back to this inspirational journey. So we want to stop being a busybody. Stop being easily shaken by what people say about us. We want to walk into rooms with a quiet authority. You still can have authority, but you don't have to be loud or boisterous about who you are and what you do around here. A lot of people like to do that. You find new people, you come around and you want to, put yourself out there. Oh, I'm like this, I'm like that, or whatever. You ain't got to say nothing. People gonna find out what you like. Either they saying that you really ain't much because you talking all that noise, being all loud, so people could, size you up. But usually you don't have to say nothing. It's just the way that you walk can tell everything about you. Can others feel safe around you? Or they know you about that noise? You about chaos? You about starting trouble? Okay? Are you like that? Is that spirit in you? So you want to carry peace, not just feel it. You want to clarify, a steadiness about yourself wherever you go. Let your work speak for you. A lot of people don't be worrying about whether they work speak for them, but this is what they should do. So let our work speak for us. So what is this peace rule? So in the morning, one of the rules we need to do is put on peace. All right. Say to yourself, I will have peace all day. Your whole practice is a practice. You got to practice, walk in your peace. You got to set boundaries, protect it. When people come up on you and want to gossip and start whatever, protect your peace. Put it in your spirit. That way, your Holy Spirit will bring to your remembrance. Don't participate in that. Don't say nothing. They trying to see what you're going to say. Then they going to take back what you say. They not going to say what they say. They're going to take back what you say and tell them, put a little twist spin on it. And next thing you know, people looking at you side-eyed. You know what I'm saying? Because someone went back and said something that you said instead of telling the whole truth about they came to you with that. So in the evening, remember, you want to release that before you go to bed. That way you can have a peaceful rest. And what is your identity? To carry it. You want to carry that peace about you. So those are some peace rules that can help you along your way as you continue to build and to put on your armor. You have to put this armor. It's a practice. So when you go forth, you'll have your helmet of salvation. Stand on all 10. Your feet are shod with about peace. I ain't about that noise. I'm about some peace. But believe it. If you bring it to me, I'm going to serve you. I mean, for real, for real. So that's what I was meant. Like, okay, when it come to you, okay, let's eat. We're about to eat up. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you have to work and go to and fro on this earth. Well, blessings and peace among you. I want to thank you all for just allowing us to sit and meditate on our day about how we should walk, the armor that we should carry, your helmet of salvation. We talked about your breastplate of righteousness, your belt of truth. What is your truth? What way are you going to walk? What type of life you want to live? And that's what we're all about. We want to level ourselves up. Who want to stay in a cell block or in a square block all the time? Let's get outside these walls. Life is so beautiful. This earth was created and designed to be beautiful for us to enjoy. Let's enjoy it. Well, blessings and peace and love to you. We'll be right back here every Monday at 6 o'clock. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. That way you always get a notification. All right. Well, blessings. Have a good one.